It's Monday, March 11. In the headlines, CARICOM leaders, U.S. Secretary of State, among government heads to attend meeting in Jamaica to discuss Haiti. In business news, the JMMB Group launches its newest subsidiary. Regionally, Haiti violence pushes government towards collapse. And in sports, young Jamaican sprinter Brianna Liston making her mark on a U.S. college circuit. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. The situation in Haiti deteriorated over the weekend. Heavily armed gangsters attacked the National Palace and set part of the Interior Ministry on fire with petrol bombs. Gangsters again attacked the international airport, which remains closed to all flights. A group of U.S. military personnel managed to land in the violence-stricken country. At the end of that operation, non-essential personnel at the U.S. Embassy were airlifted from Haiti, and additional security officers remained. Soon after, the EU said it had evacuated all of its diplomats, fleeing a nation marred in violence and facing its biggest humanitarian crisis since the 2010 earthquake.
Rosa Friedman is a professor of law, conflict and global development at Reading University. She joins us from London. Thank you for being with us this hour. What do you think is the way forward? What are the next steps right now? For Haiti as a country, it's hard to imagine the Prime Minister, Ariel Henry, going back. Nobody is pushing for that. Nobody wants him back in Haiti, it seems. But without a Prime Minister, where next?
Really what needs to happen is for Ariel Henry to step down, to resign, or to be deposed, and for an interim government primarily made up of committed civil society organisations, including human rights organisations, to take control of the country and to implement free and fair elections as soon as is possible. And they will need support for that. The Haitian police, the Haitian military will need support for that. But it really needs to be Haiti's civil society and Haitian people that drive this forward, and not an international intervention.
You mentioned, did I hear that right? You mentioned human rights organizations maybe taking control of the country, and as you envision it. Is that right?
There have been proposals in recent years from different parts of Haitian civil society, including human rights organizations, for ways forward in terms of having interim governance while free and fair elections are put into place. Now, none of those would involve having international interventions. We know that in Haiti, for at least 100 years, international interventions have absolutely destroyed the country. And every time Haitians have voted in and elected governments that they want, international interventions have actually deposed them. So the last thing that Haiti needs is yet another international intervention.
So you say, in your view, no to the multinational task force that was approved by the UN Security Council back in October, that's supposed to be led by Kenya, but still hasn't. We're waiting for the green light from the Kenyan parliament, if I'm not mistaken.
I say absolutely no to that. And I think that if you listen to most Haitian voices on the ground and in the diaspora, they are saying no to an international task force led by a country that do not speak Creole, that do not speak French, that do not speak Spanish, that don't know the climate and the context in Haiti. But also let's remember that the United Nations stabilization mission in Haiti absolutely failed. It brought cholera into the country. There was rampant sexual exploitation and abuse. There were grave human rights violations and use of force. And eventually that stabilization mission left, first of all turning into a justice and human rights mission, then altogether leaving the country. What Haiti does not need is a UN task force or a UN appointed task force to come into the country. What it really needs is to have support for Haitian infrastructure, for Haitian police, Haitian military and Haitian civil society, because this violence and cycles of violence will only end with Haitian solutions on the ground.
CARICOM heads attended a high-level meeting on Haiti in Jamaica today, along with authorities from France, Canada and Brazil. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken also attended the meeting. Join PBCJ at 5 p.m. for live coverage of the press conference scheduled to be held at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel on the situation. The government has increased its allocation to the Child Protection and Family Services Agency for the 2024-2025 fiscal year. Minister with responsibility for education and youth, Favour Williams, made the disclosure during Thursday's meeting of the Standing Finance Committee of the House of Representatives. Rodney has the details.
At the start of her statement, Mr. Williams gave a brief breakdown of the agency's estimates for the new fiscal year.
As per the estimates of expenditure, the budget for the Ministry of Education and Youth for 2024-2025 is of the order of $162.3 billion. And of this amount, $160.3 billion is recurrent, and approximately $2 billion is our capital budget. And this includes $630 million appropriations in aid.
She says the budget will support the ministry's main areas of focus.
The budget seeks to support the ministry's main areas of focus, which include the 7 pillars under the Transformation in Education program, namely governance and accountability, early childhood development, curriculum, teaching and teacher training, tertiary education, technical and vocational education and training, TVET, infrastructure and technology, and the final pillar of transformation, finance.
Speaking about the CPFSA, Minister Williams says that the agency's allocation has been increased by almost 8%.
As we continue to support one of the most vulnerable groups in the society, it should be noted that the allocation to the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA, has been increased by about almost 8%, from $4.41 billion to $4.76 billion for this upcoming financial year.
Reporting for the news on PBCJ, I'm Danita Rodney.
Time for the business report with Denise Williams.
Good day, everyone, and thank you for joining us on the Business Report. I'm Denise Williams, your guide to the latest happenings in the world of business. The JMMB Group launched its newest subsidiary, JMMB International Limited, at the Hastings Business Center in Barbados. Michael Jordan, Executive Director and Head of Business Development, expressed his excitement about the opportunity to serve Barbados. He outlined the company's initial focus on delivering tailored investment solutions to various entities and high net worth individuals, including JMMB International Access, an online international brokerage service. Dennis Harris, chairman of JMMB International, emphasized the company's commitment to leveraging partnerships in the Caribbean for mutual success. He underscored the immense potential the region holds and highlighted the strategic vision behind establishing a regional presence. Over its 31 years of existence, the JMMB Group has steadily expanded its financial services business lines across Trinidad, Tobago, Jamaica, the Dominican Republic, and now Barbados. Jamaica Producers Limited reported that net profit attributable to shareholders was $15.52 billion, up 575% from December 2022. JP noted in their financial reports the significant increase in the group's profits relative to the prior year can be attributed in part to the successful amalgamation of PanJam Investments Limited and the operating businesses of JP to form the PanJamaica Group. The amalgamation became effective on the 1st of April 2023 and involved the transfer by Jamaica Producers of 100% of its shares in JP Global Holdings Limited, the subsidiary that held our interest in the operating businesses of JP, to the PanJamaica Group in exchange for 34.5% interest in the Pan-Jamaican Group. JP is now the largest shareholder of Pan-Jamaica Group. Pan-Jamaica Group is in turn an associated company of Jamaica Producers, and Jamaica Producers Associated Company interest in Pan-Jamaica Group is now our single largest asset. During trading on March 8, 2024, the top advancing stocks covered the entertainment, energy, and distribution sectors on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Pulse Investment shares advanced 13.37% for a 25% price increase to close at $2.12, with 71,567 shares traded. Wigton Wind Farm Limited shares advanced 11.46% for an 11-cent price increase to close at $1.07, with 13,470,219 shares traded. Blue Power Group Limited shares advanced 10.07% for a 28-cent price increase to close at $3.06, with 1 share traded. On the declining stocks that traders experienced on March 8, 2024, the top 3 losers covered the technology, finance, and transportation sectors. T-Tech Limited declined by 15.51% for a 38-cent price drop to close at $2.07, with 22,178 shares traded. Jamaica Money Market Brokers Group Limited 7.25% cumulative shares declined by 15.15% for 30 cents downward price movement to close at $1.68, with 592,732 shares traded. Trans-Jamaica Highway Limited US dollar shares declined by 11.91% to close at 2 cents, with 717,424 shares traded. Over on the Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, they registered a volume of 66,188 shares crossing the floor of the exchange, valued at $2,166,489.77 Trinidad and Tobago dollars. Scotia Trinidad and Tobago Limited was the volume leader with 14,691 shares changing hands for a value of TT $1,031,488.60, followed by National Enterprises Limited with a volume of 10,424 shares being traded for TT $40,646.54. Moving from the money moves of investors, executives, and companies, we turn to the Forex market. On March 8, 2024, the Bank of Jamaica reported that US $15.7 million was bought from Forex traders, while US $15.9 million was sold to Forex traders. Buying directly from the Bank of Jamaica, foreign currency traders sold the US dollar for $155.97 and bought the US dollars for $154.33. The difference between the buy and sell rate was $1.64, which represents a profit for Forex traders for every US dollar traded. Canadian Forex traders earned a trading profit of $7.33 from transactions with the Bank of Jamaica. The Canadian dollar was sold at $117.84 and bought for $110.51. For traders looking at the British pound, they pocketed a profit of $6.69, selling it for $201.24 and buying it for $194.55. For the credit report tip of the day, are you feeling a bit hesitant about talking to your bankers about your credit report? Understanding your credit report is key. Start by requesting a free copy from one of the major credit bureaus. Take your time to go through it and understand what each section means. Look for any errors or inaccuracies that could be dragging down your score. Let's now check in with Danita Rodney and see who's in this week's Young Boss feature.
Welcome to the Business Report. I'm Danita Rodney.
This week's Young Boss is the man you go to for your latest and most up-to-date building and construction needs. Let's meet Aquis Group CEO Adrian Bradford.
Hi, my name is Adrian Bradford, CEO of Aquis Group and Managing Director of BRL Labs Limited. Well, I offer a full-service construction company, so from the purchase of land, development of the property, renovations of property, and it's not limited just to construction. So if you want me to build a house or apartment or hotel, I can do so. Or if you want me to just consult, give you cost information, how to manage your site, how to manage your deliverables, we can do that as well. So it's a full range of services that really have no limitations. So the difference between myself and Bob the Builder, all these random guys that just think they can build, is I actually studied for it. So I went to the University of Technology, I studied quantity surveying, so I'm a QS by profession. And then I also went to Barbados, where I studied project management and evaluation, so I can actually do the process of building. Now, construction is a family business for me. I grew up with my father doing landscape contracting, concrete testing, various hotel projects, and then I left University of Technology and I traveled throughout the Caribbean, where I learned various trades and technical skills. So I'm a bit more equipped to give advice and to actually do than a lot of the persons that grew up and said, I can mix some cement, so I'm a contractor. Pretty good. Most of my customers actually are happy that I'm very honest and open. So I'm sometimes even talk myself out of business because I will tell you if it makes no sense, don't spend your money there. So my customers are generally very happy with me. I'm very straightforward with them, which is kind of rare in this kind of environment. Everybody just wants to make $1, but for me, your name is more important than the revenue that you could get from that one job. So, it helps. So this brings you back to the original statement, right? There are a lot of people that are claiming to be builders. So Jamaica, unfortunately, like everything else, we have the little bending of the law and the greasing of the palm and the friend here and there, which has reflected in our construction environment, right? So you have a lot of these apartment buildings that they're being zoned in residential areas that should not carry it. They're generally blocking out the view and causing public nuisances, but through friends and the links, they've been able to go. We don't do a lot of policing. So KSAC is one department. They really don't cover all and every nook and cranny, and everybody has a friend somewhere. So I think that's the biggest challenge in Jamaica. Hotel developments come to us to test their concrete. They come to us to test the soil to make sure everything is good and will stand up for 50 years, 60 years. The private man doesn't. So there's nothing that forces them to come and say, verify that this concrete strength is good enough, that it will withstand this hurricane, this seismic activity. They aren't doing that. So my biggest concern is in the smaller market, there aren't enough preventative measures put in place to ensure that we're solid for the future. So that again falls back on government. It's all about regulation. So we need more government bodies enforcing that we build a certain distance from the perimeter, from the road. You limit certain size buildings in certain communities, trying to preserve some of the the traditional kind of infrastructure. Challenges, just the new challenges. And for me, I like construction because it's just to do something different each time. So no job is really the same. All the challenges are different. And it's hard, but you always have that feeling when you finish and you look at something that you've built and you can say, wow, this really turned out great. Or, Jano, I'm gonna learn some lesson here, so and this can't reach me again, but it's always something exciting. So my office is at 7 Ivy Green Crescent, that's near Crossroad. Online, it's Aquis Group on Instagram. You can look for BR Labs Limited on Instagram, that's the other page for the concrete testing. And yeah, generally you could see me driving around somewhere in your neighborhood.
And with that, we wrap up today's business report. I'm Denise Williams. Appreciate your company. Stay well informed, stay ahead of the curve. Until our next update, take care.
In regional news, as violence pushes Haiti's government towards the brink of collapse, powerful gangs continue to call for the resignation of Prime Minister Ariel Henry, who remains outside the country. Guy Philippe, who helped lead a coup in Haiti in 2004, says Henry should not return.
Political activist Mathieu Marcelin was greeted with excitement on Friday after he escaped from prison in Haiti. The country entered a state of emergency last Sunday after fighting escalated and armed gangs broke inmates out of prison. He says he was kidnapped by the government of Prime Minister Ariel Henry.
I wasn't imprisoned, I was kidnapped. The criminal government headed by Ariel kidnapped me. The God of life saved me by the skin of my teeth.
Months of violence have pushed Haiti's government to the brink of collapse and forced thousands to flee their homes. And increasingly powerful gangs are asking the country's prime minister to resign. Meanwhile, Henry remains outside the country, seemingly unable or unwilling to return. Guy Philippe, who helped lead a coup in Haiti in 2004, says he should not return.
He had an agreement. He would resign and step down in February 7th this year. But he hasn't done it. And he's still having the backing of those big countries that say that they are our friends. So I think he should stay where he is now for the best. It will be good for the country that he stay where he is and let Haitians decide their fate.
Philippe, who was deported from the US to Haiti in November after serving 6 years of a prison sentence for money laundering derived from drug trafficking. Since his return to Haiti, he traveled the country, rallying support and calling for the government to step down. Henry's spokesperson did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Henry left Haiti last week to secure Kenya's leadership for a UN-backed security mission he first requested in 2022 to help fight the gangs. He is believed to still be in Puerto Rico, where he arrived on Tuesday.
In Barbados, that country has called out the inherent biases of credit rating agencies. Prime Minister Mia Mottley says there is discrimination in the way countries of the global north and south are treated. The Barbadian leader also says the financial markets do not equally treat countries of the global north and south the same. Her comments came during a webinar hosted by the Inter-American Development Bank and Financial Times titled Exploring Sustainable Growth Opportunities for Latin America and the Caribbean.
When size and those things start to become limits, at a point when we started at AA, then you begin to ask yourself, what is it that is informing the judgment and the analysis of entities? Similarly, when you do, and I said that my advisor, Professor Persaud, who is now Milan's advisor, has done and looked at the work at what has happened in South Africa in terms of what was the real risk and what was the real chance of default. And when you start to look at it, you realize that the same inherent bias that will cause the Security Council to only have a P5 that excludes Africa, that excludes Latin America, is the same bias that is affecting, regrettably, the judgment of markets and a lot of these things. Now, can it change? I believe it can. We run the risk that people are so consumed with the sexiness of it that they forget that the real issue is still adaptation funding. We don't want only money after loss. We need it after loss, but we want it before to avert loss. Right. And therefore, we have to scale up the funding that is available for both climate and for what I call the other global public goods. There's been significant work done on this by the President of Singapore, by the Director General of WTO. The work is there. Yep. It needs political action and decision.
There has been significant development in the country's transition towards renewable energy. The United Arab Emirates officially handed over Barbuda's state-of-the-art solar power station to the government of Antigua and Barbuda on Friday. Jamie J. Rocher reports.
Barbuda is turning over a new leaf in renewable energy thanks to significant collaboration involving international partners such as United Arab Emirates, New Zealand, and the CARICOM Development Fund.
Thank you.
This ribbon cutting Friday marks the official opening of a power station that's not just new, but revolutionary.
we took over the governance of this country in June of 2014, and we established a vision for Barbuda to be a green, organic, sustainable island. And I'll say here, without any fear of contradiction, that we are well on our way to making Barbuda a green, organic, sustainable island community, perhaps the only within the Caribbean region.
Executing agent Mazda says the power plant can withstand the harshest elements, including potential hurricane threats.
Together, this entire envelope of structure is able to withstand wind speeds up to 170 miles per hour, which is 275 kilometers per hour. This is equivalent to a Category 5, roughly, hurricane. The design was put to test. In 2020, Hurricane Fiona made landfall on the site and is still standing there.
The government of the United Arab Emirates provided $4 million in grant funding for the project.
The energy produced from this solar hybrid plant will enable Barbuda to offset around 1 million kilograms of carbon emissions and reduce its annual diesel consumptions by almost 400,000 liters.
Costing a total of around $6 million, this green power station features a 720 kilowatt peak solar photovoltaic facility and an 863 kilowatt hour battery storage solution. It's a hybrid system with diesel generated electricity serving as backup power.
I'm standing here in the midst of the very solar panels that will harness the sun's energy. This isn't just about power, it's about resilience. With the ability to store energy and the backup power, Barbuda is prepared for the sunniest days and the darkest nights.
Barbuda Member of Parliament, the Honourable Trevor Walker, encourages fellow residents to embrace change.
I want to say to us here, as Barbudans, that we must welcome and own this plant. It is the way forward for us as we continue to promote the type of investments in Barbuda that will allow us to maintain our livelihood.
The project aims to stand out as a precedent for the Caribbean and the world, one solar panel at a time.
This green power plant stands as a beacon of innovation and hope. It's a reminder that even the smallest islands can make a big impact on the path toward a sustainable future. From Barbuda, I am Jamie J. Roche reporting for ABS News.
In sports, young Jamaican sprinter Brianna Liston, a sophomore at Louisiana State University, clinched the women's 60-meter title on the final day of the National Collegiate Athletic Association Indoor Championships in Boston on Saturday. Liston secured the victory by setting a personal best and school record of 7.03 seconds. Liston's triumph not only secured her the top spot in LSU's all-time 60-meter list, surpassing Olympian Alia Hobbs, but also placed her among the world's fastest this winter, sharing the 5th fastest time globally. And we're on the pitch with cricket. Cricket West Indies recently convened a courtesy meeting with the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. Terence Drew, and Minister of Sports, Samal Duggins. The meeting underscored a collective commitment to advancing cricketing initiatives within the Caribbean region. President of Cricket West Indies, Dr. Kishore Shallow, engaged in discussions with Prime Minister Drew to explore ongoing collaborations and future opportunities aimed at enhancing cricketing prospects and fostering regional cooperation. The meeting served as a platform to strengthen the relationship between CWI and the government of St. Kitts and Nevis, emphasizing shared values in promoting sports excellence and youth development. And that's it for the news. Have a pleasant viewing.